BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe week 512 here at BodyBags. I am your regular Wednesday evening host, and we're in just a small stretch of a couple random weeks as we head towards the end of the month. And what will be a theme, and my theme, that is College Horror Volume 2. And yours truly will be revisiting an oldie but goodie, that is Splatter You, back in the day. So this one, random. Again, I thought I knew what I was doing and changed course last night. Decided, I don't know, to revisit The Conjuring and the original, the first film, James Wan. Of course, he had already made his huge splash with Saw and, of course, Dead Silence, which I'm a fan of, Insidious. But The Conjuring, I was shocked to find that no one in BodyBags has ever reviewed The Conjuring. And so I thought, you know what? This, and then I thought next week, I went in and ordered it last night. The Legend of Hell House has never been done either. That haunted film from '73, Roddy McDowell, I think, a whole cast, if you're familiar with that one. And so, you know, found it on the cheap for $13 and change and couldn't pass it up. So this week, The Conjuring. Next week, The Legend of Hell House. So The Conjuring, I'm pretty familiar with this series. I absolutely love it. I don't think there's a bad film in terms of the trilogy we're working with. The extended universe has its flaws. And for me, personally, I think the first film, James Wan's film, is structurally, it is the best film of the trilogy. But for me, the most entertaining or the most rewatch quality is the third one, The Devil Made Me Do It. In fact, it's the only one I have on 4K. Looks fantastic. Two's good, and I think I love the beginning and the end more than the meat of the film. But the third one, there's not really a bad film in here in this trilogy. And now we have another one, and I have come to absolutely love and adore Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Warrens, as played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They're just, I don't know if I've loved a pair as much as I do here as I did back in the day with Mulder and Scully from the X-Files. I really, really do. And it's too bad we're not going to get more than probably 4 films with those two as the central thing going on. But The Conjuring, based loosely, remember, these are movies, right, in the end, and they do get... The Warrens get raked over the coals. For those who are overly critical or do not believe, think much of all of this are hoaxes and whatnot. These are films, okay? And so with that being said, there is an element, perhaps, of some truth going on here in terms of the history of this particular house. Now, this house in Rhode Island, I think it's Harrisville, Rhode Island. We opened to we opened to Annabelle, but we opened to a family that we'll find out, I think somewhere in the film, they got this house dirt cheap and weren't sure why, I don't think. And Rhode Island laws allow for people to not disclose things. Whether it be paranormal or just terrible tragedies. And so, I mean, you know. And it doesn't take long, right from the get-go. Well, they come in, they're moving in. Dad's a trucker, so he's not always going to be home all the time for days, stretches, a week stretch, perhaps. So the girls, 5 girls, And the mom, Lily Taylor, who plays the mom, fantastic. Ron Livingston plays Roger, the dad. And then, of course, you got the 5 girls, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. Of course, Shannon Kook is Drew, the guy who helps out with the Warrens. And, of course, there is a police officer here also helping. And so, the family, it takes a little bit of a setup. It takes a little while. Things really do begin to ratchet up in terms of the infestation aspect, and then the oppression, and then the third piece is the possession. And so we kind of get this a little bit via a classroom from Ed and Lorraine as they're going over this. In fact, I think that's the moment where Carolyn, who is Lily Taylor, the mom, happens to be there. Now, in the infestation phase, of course, it takes a little bit of a setup. You're getting used to knowing the girls, knowing the mom and dad, and this is just a working family, and just the casting is unreal, I think. They really moved really hard to set something up that you would care a lot about the characters. And so it takes a little bit of time. But this infestation really manifests itself in night terrors, the bruising of the mom, something is attacking her in the middle of the night. And things very quickly just escalate to the point where she doesn't know what else to do. And so she finds Ed and Lorraine and is sitting in one of their lectures and is able to convince them to come check out their place. And it's funny because, the characters of Ed and Lorraine are they're skeptics in their own right. I mean, they know most of the time. We get this little scene in the movie like this. They know a lot of the times it's not a real haunting. It's something else, right? Entirely. But the minute they come into the home, Lorraine knows immediately there is a very dark, malevolent presence that is there oppressing this family. And so the decision is easy. A little bit of, in terms of the scope of this story, apparently there was a witch who owned this property, pretty expansive property, ends up sacrificing her baby to Satan and ultimately hangs herself and then curses the land. So this isn't just about a house and a family. This is about a huge stretch of property that over the long haul of years have seen suicides and murders and just tragedies. It is almost as if this land, this ground, is truly cursed. And when this family first shows up, almost immediately, Sadie, the dog, which in real life, I think it was the cat actually that wouldn't come in through the main doors, the main entranceway of the house, I think. It's the dog. And maybe the most unnerving aspect of this movie happens early on when they find out that Sadie has been killed. The dog has been killed out on the grounds. And just the idea of this malevolent presence, this ghost, call it, this this evil demonic presence has the capacity and willingness and to actually lay waste to the things that are valued and treasured by this family. And that's just a scary proposition. What do you do? I mean, what do you do if you really find yourself in a situation where you really do believe you are encountering something that you cannot just put your hands on or, in a materialistic way, but it is something very real. And so, the clocks, will all stop at 3:07 a.m. Kind of thing. A lot of haunted house tropes here, but done masterfully by James Wan. Absolutely masterfully done. In fact, I think he was influenced. I think he said he was influenced by 70s horror films. And so, one of the reasons why I'm going to do Legend of Hell House next. I'm trying to think. So anyways, you know, it all sort of, you've probably seen the movie. Most people have seen The Conjuring. I'm not going to go much more into it. But once the Warrens are there, things really begin to escalate to the point where there is a possession of I was going to say Lorraine, of Carolyn, and she becomes a direct threat to her children. And so there is a race against time to exorcise this demon, whatever it is that has possessed her, to do this. And quite a frightening and chilling climax, but one that ends in a type of resolution that is very heartwarming to see this family, you know, reunited in the sense that mom is no longer that threat to them. And, you know, it is from start to finish. It is a very well directed film from James Wan. I had a lot of fun. It's been a while since I revisited the original, and it was a lot of fun just rewatching it late last night. And the other thing I wanted to just mention too about this movie that's really, and not only are the characters believable and written extremely well, the team of writers, Hayes, I can't think of their first names, but they're brothers, I think, just did a phenomenal job on the script writing for this. Very, very, very believable. Whatever your inclinations to believe supernatural, paranormal stuff, they make the film quite believable. I mean, there may be moments that, you know, heightened moments that you kind of like, well, you know, I'm not sure about that. Maybe I think one of the greatest pieces of success for this film, though, is even though it's an R-rated film, it's only because of the scare factor, the tone, tonally speaking. There is really no nudity, no sex, no heavy language. I mean, this really is a clean film in terms of those things, and I always find it remarkable, intriguing when a director can do a lot of things and not do it cheaply. I think of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Movies that can do incredible things and make huge impacts without necessarily going into these other charted areas. I just think it's more remarkable when you can earn an R for tonally speaking. That is an amazing piece of work by one James Wan. The other thing I want to say too is if you are fascinated by the whole Conjuring and the history behind the Conjuring, Astonishing Legends podcast, which has been around for quite a while now in terms of podcasts, the one daughter, Andrea, the oldest daughter, I believe she's the oldest one, she wrote actually the real person actually wrote a 3-part book called House of Darkness, House of Light, in which this movie, well, I'm not sure how much this movie looked to that, but the Astonishing Legends 2-part podcast, about 5 hours worth of material, do an incredible deep dive into this book, this 3-part book, and they really just tear it wide open. So if you really want to do an incredible deep dive into just the extensive history, the real history, and what these guys ultimately think in the end of all of it, look no further than Astonishing Legends 2-parter, and I'm going to drop the links down now. It's through Spotify, so if you don't have Spotify, I don't know where else you can find it. I'm sure you probably can find it somewhere, but Spotify will be the links I drop down below for both parts. And if you're into the supernatural, paranormal stuff, see, I'm a person that was like, I loved Art Bell, late night paranormal, extraterrestrial type stuff. And so Astonishing Legends of late has become that fix for me and my wife, actually, and My boys like a lot of it. It's really an awesome podcast. But if you really want to do a serious deep dive without actually buying this book and reading the book, this is an easy way to do it. And so I'll drop those links down. So The Conjuring, The Conjuring from 2013. I don't think I said the year, but wow, we've had The Conjuring universe building and growing since 2013. It's been a while. Now we got a new Conjuring film. We got the Nun 2. I'm curious about that. We'll just see how much the cinematographer on here, Leonetti, he was a first assistant camera guy on the original Poltergeist in '82. He also shot Child's Play 3, which is interesting, and he's got a huge filmography in terms of his camera work. So that's about it, I think. I did see on Amazon, and the main makeup guy who is in charge of the makeup here, he's actually ahead of the makeup crew for the brand new Saw 10 coming. So, and he got his start actually with Bloody Murder from 2000, which is kind of funny. So anyways, from Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema, the original Conjuring, everything, what is there not to like about this movie, man? The score, the cinematography, the casting, the writing, the direction, the visual effects. It's just, it is a meaty haunted house film, and one that takes itself very serious. I was thinking to myself, how awesome would it be for James Wan to, as a love letter to Italian cinema, take Lenzi's Ghost House and do it right. That would be pretty phenomenal. Anyways, on that end, I'll end with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.
We might be useful to you.